Online giving is a huge desire of almost every organization these days. Whether the average donor is old, maybe a retirement center, or the average donor is very young, maybe a fraternity that has, recent alumni, whatever the age, everybody seems to realize that you've got to have a web presence and you've got to have the ability for them to do pretty much whatever they want on the web. Certainly add their name to the mailing list, make a gift, make a pledge. Denari is very proud to offer fully integrated online communities. It comes in a kid sister version called Simple Online Giving. Let's start with that one, Simple Online Giving. Remember, as with everything in Denari, the key point is integration of the pieces. We start with the ability for us to make it look exactly the way you want. So our designers will go in with your people and design the key graphical elements. In this case, we see a logo and we see some fields. Now those are details, but the end result is that the donor is going to see a page that looks very appropriate for them, something along these lines. Let's take a look at how that's going to actually flow for the donor. Here we see a website for one of our customers. Within the page is a link to be able to donate. When clicking on the donate button, a second very similar website appears. Now why do I say very similar? Well, let's look at these carefully. The one at the top is firstcare.org. The one at the bottom is actually denarionline.org. The one on the bottom is a secure site. That means it's encrypted. It uses something called SSL. Now that's pretty important when you learn about credit card processing and all those kinds of things. We are secured. The one on top is not SSL. What's also nice is that the graphical look and feel of their normal website is perfectly consistent with the graphical look and feel of the Denari online communities, because we want that donor to really feel that sense of continuity. And this is the simple kid sister version, if you will. It's a one-pager. They can pick whatever they want to donate to, and then they can indicate the donation here all on one page. New donor or returning donor. The gift amount. Now maybe that gift is right now, or maybe it's monthly. Now a monthly gift is what I would call a pledge, or annually. It has a recurring element to it. When they choose something like monthly, the fields adjust. So you see the bottom here really does respond immediately. If it's a credit card, no problem, we'll just take the gift. If it's monthly, then how do you want to pay that? And if it's going to be payment by credit card, for what duration? Until I decide to stop? 1 year, 6 months? You get the idea. Now if it's bank draft, EFT, then those fields are account number and routing number. Day of month is under your control as the charity. What are you going to offer them? And the note. Now I really like this because we've got very smooth flowing name, gift, and pledge acquisition that looks just like you want it to, just like your website, and yet that donor can self-service. They can give you things that you really want. Let's look at what happens in the Denari side. As a donor interacts with online communities, we create what's known as an active user list. This lets us know of all the people in Denari, which ones are actively using online communities, which ones aren't. And that's actually very helpful because, you're running an ongoing donor management. This is a transition from all paper-based to being kind of electronic-based and paper. Not all your donors are going to switch all at once. Who are the new online community users, suspect users? That's what we call, it's a duplicate checking concept, and a user log that lets you know what's going on with these users. There could be a sense of feeling a little out of control because who knows what the donor is doing. But in reality, it's not such a bad thing. They should be able to do what they want without you having to get in the middle of all of it. Yet it's also very good to know what's going on, so that you know that a gift was created by Scott Williams on such and such date. One of the really nice things about Denari is the ability to easily introduce an additional giving option. So when it came time for them to do Army of 10,000, how would they modify the website? Somebody's brainchild, let's do Army of 10,000. How would you put that out there? Or an emergency, some family in your community, their house burns down, and all of a sudden you're in the relief business. You want to raise some money to help this family. all of a sudden, or the tsunami several years ago. Nobody knew that was going to happen on Christmas Day, and all of a sudden a lot of Americans were opening presents or whatever they were doing, and they heard about it. What do you do at that point? Well, what you could do is go to Denari and add a record like this one. It's just simply a database function. Display order, how it's going to show up, and when they give, what appeal code, what fund code, how long will we raise that money, and how will it show up on the web? Will there be a graphic? Will there be text? How will that appear? This is the power of integration. This is what makes online communities and simple online giving so much better than a standalone donor management solution might be. Standalone donor management and over here standalone donation processing, they don't communicate with each other. Here we have it pushing and pulling. You want to push data onto the web, you add a record. You want to pull data back in your database, that happens automatically when they give a gift or make a pledge. Let's expand this discussion now to the full online communities version. What else can we do with online communities? We call it a self-service interface. So what can they do besides give a gift, make a pledge? Take a look at this record for a minute. This is a standard Denari record, and within this we have gift history. So we see here, donor number 28823, and we see a gift of $1,000 that occurred. Let's take a look now at that record through online communities. And the first step is for them to be able to log in. Standard e-commerce characteristics. Now they're logged in, and again you see the look and feel here is quite different. Many options to do many things, including my account. This is where they could change their name and address. They could put in an email address, birthdays, a receipting preference. So we see that it becomes a much broader scope where it's much more self-service. We also can go and look at gift history, where the donor could print off their own receipt. And notice here that same $1,000 gift shows up, gift detail, print receipt. This is the kind of self-service that the younger generation of donors is going to insist on. They're not going to plan on writing a check and sending it to you. They're not going to plan on opening their mail and receiving a receipt. They're going to expect you to use technology the way it could be. Online communities integrated with donor management data with Denari is a really good implementation. It's a good example of how technology can be used.